Night falls in Mavros, the city of the Black Rose. A hard rain soaks the streets of the upper city, running down through the cracks, the gutters, the sewers, and the storm drains, and pouring out through the interlevel partition onto a gloomy tram that trundles through the Powers District of Central City, the city's second layer. The tram's poorly maintained crystalline lights have flickered out, leaving its sole passenger in darkness. Brennan, would you please describe your character?
Dr. Harold Jennings is a slight and reedy gentleman. He sits on the tram in something like the form of an apology. For a tram this empty, the invitation to spread out and get comfortable would only be very high. Even with no other passengers around, Dr. Jennings sits like he is in a crowded train. His slight stature and sort of apologetic body posture runs counter to, I think, what people would expect of a leonin, who's a lion man. Much like sort of, the Prince John from like the old animated Robin Hood. He's like smaller. He's a scrawny, runty looking lion. Some can be, big mane, like standing like 6.5 or 7 feet tall. He's like 5'6". Mane is very short. He doesn't do anything to shorten. It's just sort of naturally a little bit shorter, a little bit scrawnier. Big sort of golden eyes behind big, wide-rimmed glasses, sort of golden circles. Bowler hat, tweed coat that is a little bit large on him. Tweed pants. He doesn't have shoes on his lower paws, but he does have spats on them to give the appearance of sort of formal wear. And he has his briefcase in his lap.
And as you're sitting here in the dark, heading home after an incredibly tense day at work, feeling haggard and on edge as you increasingly have over the last 2 years, you're nearing your stop in the neighborhood of Gardener's Grove. Outside, you can see the lights of the buildings, the automobiles, the street lights, and the gas masks becoming obscured by creeping fog. It looks like the city's filtration systems have failed again, as they so often do, and now factory smoke from the lower city, the city's third layer, is seeping up directly into Central City. And it's a silver smoke day, so it's a good thing you remembered your gas mask. As the lights outside disappear into this caustic silver smoke, you notice another set of lights out of the corner of your eye. A pair of small, round lights beaming out at you from the back of your tram car. It's as though these lights are in the tram car with you.
I'm going to sort of gingerly stand up to get a better look. Hello? Hello? Do I see anything holding the lights?
Well, see, that's what's weird about it, because as a leonin, you have dark vision. You should be able to make out whatever is back there, but you can't seem to make out much of anything at all. Would you like to roll a wisdom check to see if you can discern anything in the darkness?
I would, and I'll actually take a couple steps closer. That's a 12.
With a 12, you can't really make out any details, but it looks like there's some sort of mound or maybe like a small creature sitting on the back seat of this tram, as if there's something or someone sitting in this tram looking at you, and these lights are its eyes.
Thinking to myself that this must be some sort of, I don't know, it's very curious. I think I'll walk towards it, looking at the lights on the mound, and I'll say, and did I see this when I got on the tram, or does it seem to have like I somehow missed it or something like that?
No, you did not notice it at all. It appears to have appeared very recently.
I think I'm going to take out my glasses and sort of like clean them, being like, something's wrong. I'm not seeing what this is. And I'm going to gingerly approach to see how this mound got here with these strange lights on it.
As you creep towards the back of the tram, the lights move forward as if to meet you. You see them move forward and drop off the seat onto the ground. You hear like a little thud. And as they continue to move towards you, you hear footsteps. Tiny, wet footsteps.
Sorry. I didn't mean to disturb. And I'm going to sort of stumble backwards and begin to move away. I thought this was an object, and now clearly it's moving, and is immediately my head goes to horrifying things, or just like I've disturbed someone who's like sleeping under some refuse or something, and I'm going to apologize and begin to rush back towards the other end of the car.
As you're like rushing back towards the other end of the car, you do pass the emergency signal button. You are not yet to your stop, but you could, if you wanted to remove yourself from the situation, potentially pull that and get the driver to stop so that you can exit.
Is this thing still moving toward? Do I feel like it's moving in a way that I recognize as humanoid, or is some other thing happening here?
As you glance back, you see through the little bit of silvery light that's still managing to eke its way through the tram car windows, a tiny hand extend into view. The back of the hand is covered in fur, but the fingers look uncovered. And the fur looks, just in the split second that you see it, matted and grayish and filthy, as if there's mud and maybe bits of grass and twigs mixed in there. And you can also see that on the hand there's these little fingernails that look like they lean forward into like sharpened points, like claws, and even those look filthy. And you're just
for
pulling.
Folks listening, I'm yanking hard, not letting the description finish. I see a fraction of that, and am hurriedly going, help!
The tram stops a few moments after you pull it. I think by your do you even look back and see what is happening with these eyes, or are you just like stop, and just exiting the tram?
Full little kid rules. If I look back, that's when it's going to get me. So we're not looking back. We're just pulling, yanking, and getting out of the door as fast as we can.
All right, you plunge outside. Immediately your vision is obscured as that silver smoke comes rolling onto the tram, stinging your eyes, making them water. Do you put on your gas mask at all, or do you just try and book it?
I will fumble for the gas mask to try to put it on, but as I'm doing that, I'm going to put two fingers of my right paw in my mouth and whistle loudly for Hector, who is probably, like, I don't know how far away Hector would be now, but like flying home. Like, I don't make my bird ride the tram. Some people always someone they're familiar with them. There's something about it that seems undignified to me, so I let my crow familiar fly. So I'm going to whistle for Hector as I'm going for the gas mask.
All right, normally Hector would have been perched atop the tram, sort of mirroring you riding on the inside by riding on the outside. But I think with how tense things were today at work and how tense things were leaving work, Hector has not felt comfortable landing. So he has taken to wing and been circling the tram as it's been traveling through the city. So as you whistle out for Hector, you hear and a flutter of wings as Hector comes swooping out of the smoke to land atop your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. So I'm going to get the gas mask on with Hector there, and I'm just going to start running. Just running.
All right, you go rushing off through the smoke with Hector. The smoke is so thick, the visibility is so low. Even with the light from your gas mask giving you just enough visibility to navigate, it's very difficult to see. It looks, as you're running, and it looks like the streets are mostly deserted, which is unusual for this time of night, even given the smoke. But as you're running along, you do see what looks like some moving shapes in the gloom. So it does look like there might be some other people here. And in fact, one of them seems to sort of wave towards you as if to try and beckon you to come closer.
No, now! And I'm going to just sort of sprint past. And then if I see other people around, like I feel embarrassed, but I'm terrified. But also, as soon as there's enough people around, I think Herald has I have a strong sense of social embarrassment. And so even though I'm terrified for my life, if more than one person looks at me at the same time for running, I'm going to stop.
Okay, roll me a wisdom check as you run away from this beckoning figure through the swirling smoke.
That's a 10.
Okay, well then that means that you do not notice that beckoning figure, as well as all of the other figures here, are actually smoky apparitions, every single one of which bears your face. And as you rush on past them, they reach out after you, helplessly, smoky flesh peeling back from their heads to reveal skulls with silver tears falling from their empty eye sockets.
Oh, that's so creepy. That's so creepy. Oh no. Oh no.
So, you keep running and running until finally you reach a place where the smoke has seemed to clear, a part of the street where the smoke seems to have dissipated. And up ahead of you, underneath a street light, you can actually see a child out playing by himself, a little boy. And I think it's at this point that your social embarrassment kicks in. Your fear is no longer shrouded by all that smoke, and now you're here alone on a street with this little child. And this little boy's actually singing a song.
While Mavros sleeps and all the eyes are gleaming, millions of its people run in terror screaming. Some have no hopes and o'er their sorrows weep. Uppers laugh and play the game while Mavros is fast asleep.
I think my brain breaks. I think the child singing this horrifying song that like sounds so sweet at first, and as I continue to take more steps, just begins to sort of linger. How do I recognize the neighborhood I'm in right now? Do I know how to get home from here?
I think you are in fact in your neighborhood, the neighborhood of Gardener's Grove. I think you're like probably several blocks away. It would be a good like 10, 15 minute walk, but I think you've been around this area enough to kind of know.
Okay, I am going to hear this horrifying song, look at the child, and then quickly try to look away. And I'm going to tell Hector, I'm going to say, Hector, take to wing, keep an eye, and call loudly if anything should approach me. And I'm going to take my briefcase, and I think Dr. Jennings starts to fear the worst. And I think I'm going to actually hurriedly, like basically speed walking. I'm like taking care not to run. I never let both feet leave the ground at the same time, but as fast as I can walk with one foot on the ground at all times, that's as fast as I'm walking to get home.
Okay. As you're walking along, Hector takes to wing. You don't hear him. I think you occasionally hear the flutter of wings, but you don't see him fluttering ahead and above. But as you're walking along, I would say within a minute of leaving the child, you hear footsteps behind you. And they start to get a little closer. It sounds like they're walking slightly faster than you.
I'm going to rapidly shift direction. I'm going to like cross to the other side of the street. Just not look back, but just if I hear footsteps, I'm just going to get away.
Okay. You cross to the other side of the street, start walking again. Within moments, you hear the footsteps behind you again. And they're getting closer than before.
I'm going to quickly round a corner and then just continue walking and I think like break into a dead sprint.
Okay. You break into a dead sprint. You can hear the footsteps now pattering, and you start to hear 4 footsteps. Before, I think it was like you could hear steps. Now it's like this is clearly something on all 4s that is running after you. They sound relatively small, but it is... and I think above you, you hear Hector.
Oh, God. I'm going to turn around.
As soon as you turn around, you can see those two little lights from the tram, now approaching from 20 feet away. They stop, and you hear a voice.
Dr. Herald Jennings?
Hi. Who now asks that? Quick.
You see the orbs move forward slowly, and a shaft of light that is hitting the sidewalk in between you and the orbs, as they move forward, illuminate the figure of a small monkey. A monkey with what appears to be just two slits for a nose, a face as pale as death, and shaggy fur of gray and dark green and brown. And perhaps most unsettling of all, a rictus grin filled with sharp teeth, frozen on its face. And as it steps forward, it looks at you, making eye contact with its glowing eyes. And you again hear the voice, though the mouth does not move.
You've been awfully bad, haven't you, Doctor?
Tears are streaming down my face as I unblinkingly stare at this horror. No. You've got the wrong man, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry to trouble you.
Don't lie to me, Doctor. You've been very bad. And now I get to be very bad.
No, I'm afraid I'm quite confused. Please,
You've made some very powerful people very angry. Very angry indeed. And they've sent me here with a message for you.
And you hear a sickening series of crunches and cracks as this creature begins to change. Its body begins to stretch and contort. You hear a ripping sound as the bones of its ribs and vertebrae burst through the skin of its back. It starts to grow larger and larger and larger, the bones extending out behind it like rods. Its fingers begin to elongate. The claws get sharper and more hooked until you can hear them scraping against the pavement. The limbs become angular and longer. You can hear the tendons and the muscles almost snapping from the tension as this thing continues to grow. And all the while, this thing never stops grinning, and it never breaks eye contact with you, with those glowing white lamp-like eyes. And the voice comes again.
You're feeling sorry now, aren't you?
I hold my briefcase in front of me and hug it to my chest, shrinking in stature to protect my vital organs, and I just start whimpering and weeping, just so scared.
The creature stalks towards you, its rictus grin stretching ever wider. This thing that is now almost as tall as you, in fact, on all fours, almost as tall as you, with its vertebrae stretching much higher than your head. And Hector, who for his part has been cawing up a storm through this whole thing in a desperate bid to try and save you, starts dive bombing the creature. He dive bombs down once, slashes across the creature's face with his beak, and you can see he manages to open a wound, and in that open wound, what looks like bands of flesh, or maybe like vines, moving like worms underneath the skin for a moment before the wound closes. As Hector flips around for another attack, the creature, without even breaking eye contact with you, angles its head to the side to meet him, opens its jaws, and snaps them down on Hector's avian form. Hector is no more. The creature rises up on its hind legs, stretching to its full height. And I think you have, like, as this happens, you almost have like an out-of-body experience as you see this thing towering above you, arms outstretched, bones protruding, silhouetted against the silver light of the glow crystals, looking for all the world like some sort of profane effigy atop a funeral mound. And it lunges forward at you, grabbing both of your wrists. I think with one hand grabbing both of your wrists, pitting them against your briefcase, knocking you to the ground and leaning over you. And it gives you a deep sniff, just one of those really bad sniffs that starts somewhere around your midsection and finds its way all the way up to your face. And what is going through Dr. Jennings' mind in this moment?
I think Dr. Jennings never thought of himself as a brave man. But I think now he knows that when the time came, he was too deeply afraid to do anything. There was a moment when it devoured Hector where I thought, now you will act, now you will do something. Now is the time. And here I am, a moment later, and I have done nothing. And I just go, please, whatever it is you want. If it's my research or anything to do with what I've been studying, I would be more than happy to give it to you. You need not hurt me.
Shh. You feel a couple of the fingers stroke your face and slide themselves over your mouth. And as the face leans in close, eyes still gleaming.
They didn't send me here to bargain. They sent me here with a message.
And as you lie there, pinned in place, the monkey's feet holding your legs still, its left hand over your mouth, its right hand over your wrists. The right hand actually releases your wrists, and before you can react, it takes two of its fingers and plunges them into your nostrils. You feel the fingers pushing deeper and deeper, these long, bony, spindly fingers. You can feel the cartilage being pushed and shifted, the inner tissues of your nose being perforated as these fingers force themselves deeper and deeper, all the way until you can feel the claws brushing up against the backs of your eyes. A piercing pain. And as you instinctively begin to scream, the hand over your mouth, the left hand, releases your mouth for just a moment, just long enough for a part of a scream to get out. Before the hand then plunges into your now open mouth, the fingers hooking down, pressing against the back of your tongue, piercing into the very top of the inside of your throat. And you feel them begin to apply pressure in opposite directions, both hands pushing in opposite directions with a terrible strength. You can feel your jaw start to dislocate as it's pushed down and the top of your head is pushed up. You can feel your mouth skin begin to tear. Your eyes feel like they're about to be pushed forward out of your sockets. And the last thing you hear as this thing lowers its face next to yours is,
You have violated the terms of your contract, and you are hereby terminated.
and with a mighty heave, your head is torn asunder, and the blood runs into the gutters, mingling with the rainwater, as Dr. Harold Jennings is no more, slain in the city of the Black Rose.